Fae Evolution Merchant Chapter 41, A Surprising Customer. Lin Yuan entered his Star Web store and realized that there were actually two individuals in an intense quarrel beside the AI robot. Lin Yuan was a little baffled as all of the items in the store had already been sold. What exactly was the duo's objective? Why were they quarreling? At that moment, Lin Yuan heard a rather strange and unique voice. A woman is fundamentally weak. Those who become mothers would become strong-willed. This big sister is very noble. Are you even fit to speak with this big sister like this? The woman placed a hand on her waist, and it seemed like that she was extremely enraged. In the next instant, Lin Yuan heard an abnormally calm voice. I have prayed to Buddha, and Buddha said that you shouldn't think of snatching from me no matter what. Before the calm voice could finish talking, the enraged woman immediately followed up. Why didn't the Buddha ask you to toss your bone ashes? Previously, you and I entered together, but you said that you are in a hurry, so I allowed you to order first, but you actually ordered all of the elite Esnias. Shameless. Buddha said. Don't tell me what the Buddha is saying. Do you think you are karma? Since I helped you, you should return the favor. You aren't going to return the favor, and I have to help you again. I have helped you previously, but you actually reprimanded me. Let's see if I will stab you. Buddha said I didn't reprimand you. When did I? Stop all this nonsense. If you are unhappy, add me as a Star Web friend, and we will arrange for a meeting in real life. See if I will really stab you, Buddha said. Lin Yuan gasped in amazement. This violent-tempered woman was actually able to quarrel with a person that was more inclined to Buddhism than Buddha himself. At the same time, the violent-tempered woman was going to be enraged to death. Before the violent-tempered woman was about to make a move, Lin Yuan quickly stopped them. Why are the two of you quarreling in my store? I have nothing on sale in my store now. Come back again once there are goods to sell. After speaking, Lin Yuan minded his own business and displayed the 5 Elite X/Epic web-spraying spiders in the Star Web store. Lin Yuan then heard 2 gasps. These were 5 Elite X/Epic web-spraying spiders, so it was no wonder the duo was astonished. Elite X/Epic phase represented a kind of foundation. For 5 to appear together, it meant that a creation master backed this little store. There were plenty of stores in the Star Web, but ones that were supported and backed by creation masters were rare. Only large stores were qualified to be supported by creation masters. However, no one expected an unknown Class 1 store to be backed by a creation master. When Lin Yuan heard the duo mentioning his web-spraying spiders, he informed them, these are custom-ordered phase. They are not for sale. After hearing that these were custom-ordered phase, the duo looked at Lin Yuan with even more respect. In order to enhance elite phase to epic quality, one would need to be a Class 2 creation master. A Class 1 creation master could accomplish it, but they would need to use a large number of spiritual ingredients to do so. It was fine for Class 1 creation masters to increase the grade, but to enhance the quality, Class 1 creation masters had a much lower efficiency and speed. In order to enhance 5 phase to epic quality at once, it was only possible for a Class 2 creation master. Class 1 creation masters were already limited in numbers. Among every 30 Class 1 creation masters, only one of them would achieve in becoming a Class 2 creation master. It was truly the cream of the crop. Since a Class 2 creation master was overseeing the place, it was a must to curry favor with the one in charge. I wonder what kind of spiritual ingredients are required to make a custom order in this store. When he heard the duo's questions, Lin Yuan realized that these two hadn't read the custom order rules that he had written on the AI robot's information board. The store is currently accepting Radiance dollars for custom-ordered phase. The price will be based on the required custom-ordered Fae. The duo felt it was unbelievable, and they subsequently became ecstatic. There is actually no need for spiritual ingredients. And the only requirement is Radiance dollars? Since when did Creation Master's standard of making custom-ordered phase Creation Masters become so low? May I ask if I can custom-order phase now? Lin Yuan shook his head. He had signed a custom order contract with Stream in the Cloud, which stated that the contract would only end after producing the exclusive skill, Transparent Spider Web. The first phase was to produce 5 custom-ordered phase. If all 15 choices of exclusive skills from these 5 web-spraying spiders didn't contain the Transparent Spider Web, Stream in the Cloud would continue to make custom orders of Elite/Epic web-spraying spiders from him. Moreover, Lin Yuan was planning to achieve a significant progression for his phase grade and quality before visiting Zhou Jessen's store on the 27th. He wanted to enhance Genius, Chimey, the Spirit-Locked Jasmine Lily, and the Spirit Siphon Goldfish to elite grade and epic quality first. As such, Lin Yuan wasn't planning to accept any custom orders during this period of time. As for the money to purchase the gold-grade dragon blood, he would constantly be producing elite spirit siphon goldfish in the Spirit Lock spatial zone during these 20+ days. He would be able to nurture 4 batches of spirit siphon goldfish. By then, he would have enough after selling all of the elite goldfish. I will only be accepting custom orders next month. The duo revealed delighted expressions and nodded after hearing Lin Yuan's response. When they recalled the objective of their visits, they quickly asked Lin Yuan, "I wonder if you still have any elite Usnias?" So far, the duo seemed to be in sync as they would always be saying the same thing, just with different mouths. They didn't expect the other party to dare mention about the elite Usnias. Unsurprisingly, they were immediately enraged and about to start bickering again. Lin Yuan had a headache and immediately stopped them. "If I am selling anything else, I will not be selling any more elite Usnias." The two individuals were disappointed, but they didn't expect Lin Yuan to turn the topic around. "I might not be selling elite Usnias, but the store will sell bronze Usnias and elite spirit siphon goldfish in the future. You are welcome to make reservations." Lin Yuan's objective was to earn Radiance dollars quickly. If he wanted to increase his strength, the expenditure of Radiance dollars would be the same as a river's water flowing straight into the sea. Therefore, Lin Yuan didn't mind putting on an advertisement for his store. One should know that the clothes one wore in the real world would be materialized in the star web. The two individuals' clothes were spiritual ones, meaning weavers. The lifestyle class spirit chi occupation had produced them. Thus, it was logical to assume that their spending capability would be of a certain standard. When they heard Lin Yuan's statement, their jaws nearly dropped to the ground. At the same time, they started to suspect their lives. Bronze Usnias? Fru, novel, c. OM elite spirit siphon goldfish? These fays were rarely available in the star web. One might occasionally discover elite spirit siphon goldfish in star web stores, however, no one would be silly enough to sell bronze Usnias in their store. One could frequently buy a bronze Usnias vines from high-class stores on the star web, and a batch of 5,000 vines was worth 1 Radiance dollar. A bronze Usnia would need merely 1.5 years to produce 5,000 vines. Therefore, a bronze Usnia was equivalent to a hen that would automatically produce Radiance dollars. If a person was able to buy a bronze Usnia, it was the same as purchasing a house, and selling the vines would be the same as receiving rent. The bronze Usnia would remain the same, and the vines produced on a daily basis would serve as pure profit. "Young brother, may I ask about the price of the bronze Usnias and the elite spirit siphon goldfish?" Lin Yuan had already set a price long ago. The bronze Usnia's price is 5 Radiance dollars. As for the elite spirit siphon goldfish, they will all be of the butterfly telescope subspecies. Their price is 8 Radiance dollars. Then, Lin Yuan supplemented with another statement. By then, the buying process will still be the snap-up scheme, first come, first served. But if you quarrel in here again, you will enter the store's blacklist and will never be able to buy any Fey from here again. Fey Evolution Merchant Chapter 42, Revival Soil. As Lin Yuan stated this, he was thinking of setting a rule for his store. It wouldn't be that kind of rule that was so rigid as the old saying, "If there are no rules, there will not be a proper perimeter." However, Lin Yuan just didn't wish to handle such pointless conflicts. If someone was to fight in his store, it wouldn't be great for his store's reputation or development. The violent-tempered woman and the Buddhism-inclined person expressed that they would closely monitor Lin Yuan's store for the next 2 days. If there were any new items for sale, they would snatch them up. The Buddhism-inclined person left, but the violent-tempered woman stayed behind. She stood in place, unwilling to leave. Lin Yuan took a glance and understood that this violent-tempered woman had something to say, but didn't know how to say it. Lin Yuan took the initiative and asked, "If you have anything, you can ask me directly. But this store doesn't have anything to sell right now." After hesitating for a long time, the violent-tempered woman asked carefully, "May I know if this store is able to heal Fays with severely injured roots?" Lin Yuan thought that it would be something else. He was naturally able to heal a severely injured Fey. However, he was still a D-rank spirit chi professional, and the Fey that he would be healing couldn't be higher than silver grade. If the Fey was above silver grade, Lin Yuan's healing session would be several times longer, and it would be extremely slow. Currently, Lin Yuan was only competent in healing a bronze Fey swiftly. The store is indeed able to heal severely injured Feys, but only ones below silver. The store isn't going to accept jobs to heal silver Feys and above. As soon as Lin Yuan ended the statement, the violent-tempered person suddenly yelled out with tears, "My daughter's Fey is finally going to be saved." It is finally going to be rescued. The moment the violent-tempered woman teared up, Lin Yuan involuntarily recalled the words she had uttered when he had just arrived at the store. A woman is fundamentally weak. Those who become mothers would become strong-willed. However, no matter how strong-willed a mother was, she would always be gentle and fragile when facing her children. freewebnovel.com. After crying for a period of time, the violent-tempered woman continued to say, "It is a bronze fae. My daughter's bronze fae had been at the previous dimensional rift's vicinity to train. The flames of a horn demon burned its root." Lin Yuan's heart sank when he heard the two words, horn demon. The horn demon was a monster from the demon dimensional rift. It had a body of a barbaric bull, and it was extremely strong. While charging, its giant horns would attack the target. When the horns struck at the target, they would automatically ignite and activate the burning charge. The attack's damage was truly dreadful. No matter how powerful a regular flame was, it wouldn't damage the roots of a fae. However, the horn demon's flames had a withering effect. The withering effect was unexpectedly lethal against plant-type faes, and the horn demon's burning charge would only injure plant-type faes' roots. Then make an appointment in advance. In October, bring your daughter and her fae to the store. I will diagnose it before arranging for the treatment. After Lin Yuan agreed, the violent-tempered woman finally relaxed, and she constantly thanked him. "Owner, what are the fees for the treatment? I am afraid that I do not have enough money now. But don't you worry, I will definitely gather enough money by next month." Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and gave the price. "I don't need radiance dollars. You just need to find me a bag of revival soil." Only Class 2 creation masters could achieve in healing a bronze fae's damaged roots. The best methods for creation masters to earn money were evolving faes and enhancing their quality. In order to heal a fae's damaged roots, the creation master would have to use spiritual ingredients to assist in the recuperation. It would be wasting time and experience. At the same time, it might not be a 100% recovery. Thus, it was very hard to hire a top-class creation master to heal a fae's damaged roots without any special connections. A fae contract couldn't be changed, and if the fae's roots were damaged, it would be the same as damaging the potential of a spirit chi professional. As such, creation masters didn't just create hope for evolution, but they also created hope for rescue. The revival soil was a supporting ingredient that Lin Yuan was planning to use to nurture and enhance the jasmine lily's quality to legend when it was bronze grade. Such ingredients were extremely hard to find, and it required planning right now. The violent-tempered woman desperately thanked Lin Yuan upon hearing his request. He had given the most compassionate price by requesting for a bag of revival soil. Had she looked for another Class 2 creation master and offered this price, they would not even let her step through their door. Lin Yuan offered this price because he could effortlessly heal the fae's damaged root. It was even easier than to increase the fae's quality. Spiritual ingredients like the revival soil had the same status as bronze usnias and were extremely hard to find. Before this, Lin Yuan had already asked if Zhou Jiasun had any revival soil, and unfortunately, she didn't. Hence, Lin Yuan wanted to see if this violent-tempered woman could obtain it. It would be best if she could. If she couldn't obtain it, Lin Yuan would change the price to radiance dollars and wouldn't leave them for dead. The violent-tempered woman gritted her teeth and guaranteed that she would obtain a bag of revival soil. She then repeatedly thanked Lin Yuan, making him feel a little embarrassed. Suddenly, Lin Yuan thought that he could add the service of healing fae's damaged roots within his private custom jobs. It would definitely allow him to receive plenty of rare ingredients that no amount of radiance dollars could buy. While thinking like this, Lin Yuan let out a sigh. I am not just lacking radiance dollars. I also lack all sorts of rare ingredients. For the jasmine lily's quality to reach legend, he would need a portion of revival soil, 2 mahogany tree cores, and 1 ell of grasswood fountain water. Presently, it could be considered that he had obtained the revival soil. The grasswood fountain water was something that could be bought with a huge amount of radiance dollars. However, Lin Yuan was still witless on how to obtain the 2 mahogany tree cores. The mahogany tree cores were treasures that were qualified to enter the rare life form pavilion. It seems like my grand plan of earning money is still far from enough. When the violent-tempered woman walked out of Lin Yuan's store, she noticed that the short and fat Buddhism-inclined person who had angered her was standing at the entrance of the store. The violent-tempered woman immediately wiped off the tears on her face. The short Buddhism-inclined fatty had obviously heard the conversation in the store and wanted to console the violent-tempered woman. Buddha said. When the violent-tempered woman heard the words Buddha said, she gave a glare and yelled, Buddha said that all things have consequences, and your retribution is me. Once Lin Yuan's peace and quiet returned, he sent the message to stream in the cloud on the star web. Deep Mountain Elder Lin, the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders are in the store now. Come over and take a look. Stream in the cloud, what? Uncle, you have already obtained 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders so quickly. You aren't cheating me, right? Deep Mountain Elder Lin, you are so clever, who would dare to cheat you? Hurry up and come over so that I can deliver the goods to you. Lin Yuan urgently needed to sell the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders for 10 radiance dollars. Once he received the money, he would then have the capital to nurture elite spirit siphon goldfish. Otherwise, Lin Yuan's current wealth wasn't enough to even purchase one normal spirit siphon goldfish, let alone nurturing anything. Stream in the cloud, I understand, uncle. I will be there right away. Stream in the cloud quickly arrived at Lin Yuan's store, and when she saw the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders, she clicked her tongue in amazement and said, I didn't think that you would actually be so fast. I am uber lucky, and I will definitely be able to produce the transparent spider web from these 5 web-spraying spiders. Hurry up and deliver them to me. Previously, it was Lin Yuan who had been anxious. However, he didn't expect Stream in the Cloud to be even more anxious than him after seeing the web-spraying spiders. She was already asking him to expedite the delivery. Chapter 43, Make Itself Better for Consumption. Lin Yuan suddenly chuckled upon seeing Stream in the Cloud's excited expression and her shaking bumblebee hat. Naturally, Lin Yuan's chuckle infuriated Stream in the Cloud. You are not allowed to laugh at this young lady's hair. I didn't want to be injured by the ghost shadow-bristled spider either. As she spoke, Stream in the Cloud took off her bumblebee hat and pointed at her head. Take a closer look at my hair. They are about to grow out fully. Lin Yuan felt that Stream in the Cloud wasn't really a smart person. After logging out of the star web, Lin Yuan immediately contacted Anning to make a delivery. Just like the last time, Anning arrived quickly and helped Lin Yuan to store the 5 elite/epic web-spraying spiders into the spirit storage boxes. Lin Yuan praised Anning for her quick and efficient work. Your previous delivery of goods was amazing. You delivered everything within 2 hours. I shall give you a like. Lin Yuan knew that newcomers would always need some encouragement. It might be a simple statement of encouragement or very ordinary words, but it would subconsciously bring joy and delight for the other person. As expected, Anning's face immediately revealed a shy smile, but it was glowing with vigor and high spirits. Thank you, Mr. Lin. I will continue to work hard. For the past few days, Lin Yuan had been playing the game of rolling a snowball. The Spirit Lock Spatial Zone Spirit Pool was nurturing batches of Spirit Siphon Goldfish, and simultaneously Lin Yuan started to put Elite Spirit Siphon Goldfish on the Star Web Store for sale. Lin Yuan did think about setting a purchase limit and for each individual who visited the store to only purchase 1 Spirit Siphon Goldfish. However, after deep contemplation, Lin Yuan rejected the idea. The price he set for the Spirit Siphon Goldfish wasn't exactly low, and it was a realistic market price. Due to the same subspecies of butterfly telescope, Lin Yuan actually set the price slightly higher than the market price. Things that were rare would be expensive. Elite Spirit Siphon Goldfish were rare phase, and a store would seldom sell them. It was needless to say about the butterfly telescope, a subspecies that had the best appearance among the elite Spirit Siphon Goldfish. Therefore, whenever Spirit Siphon Goldfish appeared in his store, they would be immediately snatched up. FruEbnovL.com. Lin Yuan was thinking to leave it be since he wasn't making a loss. At the same time, such a selling method would actually increase the buyer's competitive spirit. Lin Yuan had purchased another 30 pots of usneas. This time, he wasn't going to sell them after evolving them to elite grade. He was going to evolve the usneas all the way to bronze grade. It had to be known that the evolution path of bronze usneas was truly bizarre. All other phase would enhance their survival or combat capabilities, but the usnea would think of all methods to make itself better for consumption. It was no wonder they were known as herbivorous phase super energy food. This effort for trying to make itself better for consumption was truly worthy for all production type phase to study from. As a production type phase, the usnea was definitely very successful. If it awakened the exclusive skill thick fibers at bronze grade, it would increase the digestion speed for herbivorous phase. It allowed the herbivorous phase to absorb the energy from the usneas quickly and increase consumption speed. It would certainly be subtly increasing the speed of evolution. The exclusive skill grayish-green leaves might make the usnea's appearance unpleasant, but it would actually increase chlorophyll's content in the leaves. The chlorophyll increase subsequently increased the usnea vine's nutritional value. All of the usnea's exclusive skills were basically to make itself better for consumption or how to grow more vines to increase the vine production. In an exaggerated way, it felt as if the Usnias were telling all living things, I am a food producer, and I am delicious. As such, you all have to take care of me and treat me well. Nurture me meticulously. When Lin Yuan evolved Usnias, he didn't really pay attention to the Usnias quality as he would be concentrated on making the Usnias break through to bronze grade. When an elite Usnia broke through to bronze grade, it felt as though Mother Nature had been meticulously caring for it for more than 10 years. The leaves would grow by over twice in size, the vines would be longer, and the closer to the tip of the vine, the bigger the leaves. The leaves at the top portion would be especially fresh and tender as they didn't have time to grow into new leaves, making them particularly soft. Lin Yuan held the leaves at the bottom portion and immediately felt that the weight of the leaves was rather heavy. The vines that suspended down wouldn't be as greenish as before and would have a layer of wood-like shell. After using strength to break the outer shell, it would immediately ooze out with a richer and more nutritious sap. Lin Yuan always felt a magnificent scale of life evolution whenever he observed a Fey transforming through evolution. Lin Yuan looked at the bronze Usnia and asked Genius, Genius, if you had a choice, would you choose to evolve to become more delicious to escape danger? Genius purred and looked at Lin Yuan with a confused expression. Before it was going to recite the information on the Usnia's evolution it had memorized from the books, Lin Yuan added, if it were me, I would evolve myself and make myself nastier, as nasty as possible. Genius turned its head to the side and looked at the handsome young man doubtfully. Am I too smart? Causing me to look at Yuan and still feel that Yuan isn't very clever? As Genius was deep in thoughts, it was unaware that Chimey, which thought it was the smartest one, was singing with delight. Chimey watched as tens of thousands of fans appeared in its streaming room after just a few days, and it felt as though it was only its path to the pinnacle of birdlife. The screen was constantly flooded with the words Sparrow Voice Lowly Goddess. After being busy for the past few days, Lin Yuan felt like going out for a walk by himself. In my previous life, I couldn't even stay in the house for a day. Why am I becoming more like a nerd in this life? After waking around the alleys twice, Lin Yuan decided to purchase a new set of clothes in the mall. He then sat in a restaurant in the mall and ordered a set meal. The set meal consisted of red braised meat, barbecued fish pieces, and a portion of rice. For a meat lover like Lin Yuan, vegetables had never been in his range of choices. After taking a bite of the red braised meat and the barbecued fish, Lin Yuan felt that the set meal here wasn't as nice as Uncle Li's cooking. I wonder how the treatment for Uncle Li's leg is? How long will Auntie Zhang and Uncle Li go for this time? Last year, it seemed like they were gone for 3 months before returning. The mall was playing the news. Most of the news outlets were reporting about the duels in the Star Web Celestial Stairway and some of the incidents in the real world. Lin Yuan listened to the news while eating his set meal. He felt as though he had broken free from the busy days and was enjoying the rare serenity. This contented sensation made Lin Yuan feel very comfortable. It was also this contented sensation that wiped out the fatigue that had accumulated from days of endless work. However, all of a sudden, a news report made Lin Yuan's hand freeze. Chapter 44, Spirit Guards. As the news was playing, the large screen in the mall also displayed a video with diagrams that corresponded with the broadcast. The Radiance Federation's Creation Master Association will be conducting a change for the Creation Master exam. Anyone who can complete the Class 1 Creation Master exam within 2 hours will be exempted from the exams for 3 lifestyle class occupations. They will be able to immediately enter the Class 2 Creation Master exam. The current measures have yet to be fully generalized, and it will only be conducted under the supervision of Lord Wrestling Xiao in Redbud City. The rest of the regions will be implemented with the measures concurrently. Although this was totally outside of Lin Yuan's expectation, it was certainly great news for him. Previously, I was only planning to become a Class 1 Creation Master. If I am able to complete the exam to become a Class 1 Creation Master within 2 hours, can I directly promote and become a Class 2 Creation Master? For the 3 lifestyle class occupations, be it the Scholar, Fey Observer, or Spiritual Ingredient Analyst, the knowledge content for Class 2 was entirely different from Class 1 content. Even with Genius help, Lin Yuan would need to spend a huge effort and a lot of time to prepare. Presently, there was an opportunity to be exempted from taking the promotion exams for those 3 lifestyle class occupations and taking a shortcut to becoming a Class 2 Creation Master. No matter what, Lin Yuan was going to strive for it. Before Lin Yuan could think more into it, another news report, which Lin Yuan wouldn't normally care about, made him frown. Recently, investigations from the Federation states that the dimensional rifts will be entering the active period in half a year. During the active period, the dimensional rift will erupt with alien beast waves. Therefore, the Radiance Federation will be entering a war preparation state from now on. We advise the Federation's citizens to also make preparations in advance and do not panic. The Federation will be mobilizing spirit guards during the active period to assist defending against the alien beast waves. Ever since Lin Yuan had arrived in this world, his sentience had been intact and clear. Even when he had an infant, his thoughts weren't like an infant's. Thus, he remembered everything that had happened from his infancy and onward. Active period of dimensional rift were words that stung Lin Yuan deep inside. As for the reason they stung, Lin Yuan had lost his parents of this life in such an incident, and he had to struggle to survive with his younger sister. Lin Yuan clenched his hands tightly when he saw the crest that suddenly appeared on the mall's large screen. He had seen these crests before, and 2 of them were sitting inside his little store. These were the rare few remnants his parents had left behind. It was only now that Lin Yuan realized they were the spirit guard's insignia. Lin Yuan suddenly felt rather regretful as he truly knew too little about this world. He had only logged into the Star Web recently too. If he had tried to understand more of this world and that his parents' deaths were inevitable, he may also have found out how they had perished. Lin Yuan's thoughts returned back to that rainy and pitch-black night. A dimensional rift had appeared at the Xia region's outskirts, and countless alien beasts rushed out of it. The dimensional rift had opened up without any prior signs. At that time, his parents, who looked just like ordinary people, immediately sprinted toward the direction of the dimensional rift, and they never returned afterward. After eating his meal, Lin Yuan carried his heavy thoughts and returned home. He logged into the Star Web and carefully checked the information on the dimensional rift that had erupted 10 years ago, as well as on the spirit guards. Fortunately, the Star Web had records on the dimensional rift that had opened up in the Xia region's outskirts. It was a subterranean dimensional rift, and a massive number of subterranean life forms invaded the Xia region. In addition, there were a Class 4 and a Class 5 alien beast among them. Class 4 alien beasts were equivalent to Platinum Phase, while Class 5 alien beasts were equivalent to Diamond Phase. Lin Yuan had already witnessed a Platinum Flowing Flame giant bear's prowess, so it was imaginable how much more destructive power a Diamond Fae possessed. Lin Yuan read until the end. The article clearly stated the Spirit Guard members that had successfully defended the Xia region. They had also wiped out subterranean dimensional rifts beast waves and sealed up the rift. At that moment, Lin Yuan read another crucial point that caused his irises to contract. The Class 4 alien beast that had appeared from the subterranean dimensional rift was the marsh dragon Muska. As for the Class 5 alien beast that hadn't appeared at the beginning of the beast wave, it was stated to be the bone-rotting filarial worm. Lin Yuan immediately recalled Uncle Li's leg injury. Back when he had used True Data to check on Uncle Li's leg injury, it stated that it was inflicted with bone gangrene. The bone-rotting filarial worm would only use bone gangrene when it was going to sacrifice itself to take its enemy with it. One could imagine how terrifying a Class 5 alien beast's sacrificial attack would be. After pondering for some time, Lin Yuan suddenly pinpointed some clues and realized something. From the looks of the situation, his parents should be members of the Spirit Guards. Lin Yuan felt his heart getting stuffy and urgently wished for Auntie Zhang and Uncle Li to return quickly. He wanted to ask what exactly had happened. Lin Yuan lay on the table for a long time before checking the information on the Spirit Guards carefully. He knew that this world was humongous. There were famous mountains, long rivers, massive lakes, and raging seas. Mountains and forests stretched across the lands. To the south of the Federation was the magma zone, to the north was the icebound polar region, to the west was the desolate desert, and to the east was the mud wetlands. In this massive world were countless Faes, and naturally, there were good and bad ones. The Radiance Federation had a simple method to determine if the Faes were good or bad. Those that were friendly toward humans and didn't destroy nature were good, while those that attacked humans and destroyed the environment were bad. The Spirit Guards were individuals that protected the Radiance Federation in all parts of the world and dealt with Faes. They would eradicate bad-natured Faes below Platinum grade lighting fast and make thorough preparation to deal with those above Platinum grade. After reading about the Spirit Guards and understanding how they contributed to the Radiance Federation with their strength, Lin Yuan felt he had a deeper understanding of his parents. In his eyes, his ordinary-looking parents were actually the unnamed heroes of this world. Spirit Guards. Lin Yuan spoke of the words silently before returning to his room. Then, he took something out of the nightstand. It was a large box that contained 2 smaller red boxes. Lin Yuan's eyes felt sore when he opened and looked at the 2 small red boxes. They contained all the milk teeth that he and Chu Xi had dropped when they were young. Their parents had carefully collected them and stored them in the boxes. Their parents had told them they would bury the teeth when Lin Yuan and Chu Xi were 10 years old in order to live a comfortable life. Unfortunately, after that night, they could no longer bury all the meticulously collected teeth in the soil. Lin Yuan carefully picked up the 2 crests by the side of the boxes. While holding the 2 crests, they felt surprisingly light, but they somehow suppressed Lin Yuan's strength and made his hands shake. At that moment, Lin Yuan looked through the window and noticed that the lights of the house opposite his store had suddenly lit up. At the same time, someone knocked on the door of his little store. Despite the case, Lin Yuan knew that the person knocking on the door wasn't Auntie Zhang. If it was Auntie Zhang, he would probably have heard her unique and friendly voice from far away. Who else could it be that is knocking at this time? Chapter 45, Source Seed. The knocking sound constantly echoed. It had a steady rhythm that wasn't too gentle nor too harsh. However, Lin Yuan's heart was in disarray. It wasn't Auntie Zhang or Uncle Li that had lit up their house's lights. At the same time, someone was knocking on his door. Although Radiance Federation's public security might be great and Lin Yuan had never heard of any cruel incidents, he still had a razor-sharp knife, the one that he would use to cut off the usnea vines, in his sleeve. He also called out to Chimey softly and asked it to stand on his shoulder. He then walked toward the entrance and prepared to open the door. Before opening the door, Lin Yuan said softly, "Chimey, when I open the door later, and if I step back, it doesn't matter what is at the entrance. You just have to execute turbulence and sound thrust at the door." Upon receiving Lin Yuan's command, Chimey became vigilant. It looked as though it was preparing to activate the attack as soon as Lin Yuan moved. There were cases of people knocking on Lin Yuan's door in the night, but it was unknown why he felt particularly nervous on this night. He finally learned about his parents' identities, and Auntie Zhang's house was lit up on the same day. All of these coincidences made Lin Yuan's senses abnormally sensitive. The knocking sound suddenly changed. Previously, it was a rhythmic sound that was neither gentle nor harsh. The knocking sound was slightly heavier now, and it stopped after 2 knock. Lin Yuan frowned as he noticed that there wasn't just one person outside the door. There were at least 2 individuals. After opening the door, Lin Yuan spotted a man and a woman standing around 1 meter away from the door. The man looked like he was slightly over 30, while the woman looked a little younger. The man noticed Lin Yuan's tensed hand, which was gripping the hidden knife tightly in his sleeve. The woman's expression didn't change, but the 30-year-old man chuckled and said, "Young man, don't be nervous. I just want to ask about the name of your parents." The 30-year-old man asked again, "Are your mother and father Chu Yan and Lin Jian?" Lin Yuan took a deep look at the man and the woman before nodding and replying, "Yes." "May I ask what is the matter?" When they heard his answer, Lin Yuan felt that the duo was looking at him differently. Their gaze became gentler and more amiable. The silent woman handed a letter to Lin Yuan. "Your Auntie Zhang wrote this letter," she said. "Read the letter first. After you finish, there is something else for you," she added. Lin Yuan opened the letter, and 2 things fell out. One of them was a piece of cloth. Lin Yuan opened up the cloth and felt that it was rather dirty. It was stained with grayish-black dirt, and there were actually 2 red-colored and rather ugly smiley faces. Freewebnovel.com. Lin Yuan didn't know what to do with it, so he put it down and proceeded with reading the letter. Soon, Lin Yuan's eyes turned red, and a bean-sized tear dropped on the letter, mottling the ink on the paper. 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops. Lin Yuan could no longer see the letter's content clearly. After his parents' death, Lin Yuan had never cried as he must stay strong to support the store and Chu Xi's hope. But now, thousands of emotions surged into his heart as the peaceful bliss of his childhood floated in front of his eyes. The commandment that stated a man's tears shouldn't drop so easily had been broken. Lin Yuan kept the letter and used his hands to wipe his eyes. Now that Lin Yuan was looking at that strange cloth, he felt that it was the warmest thing in this world. During the alien beast wave, his young parents had been severely injured, and at the crucial moment, they had torn off a piece of cloth and drawn 2 smiley faces with their fresh blood before death. It was unknown what the smiley faces signified. Nonetheless, Lin Yuan looked at the smiley faces and could imagine his parents' faces, which would always be smiling no matter what. The smiling faces might be expectations, concern, or an instinctive action that was carried out subconsciously. Lin Yuan solemnly folded the cloth and put it close to him. He then said to the duo that had been waiting silently for him to read the letter, "Thank you." The man immediately got closer and patted Lin Yuan's shoulder. "What is there to thank? A person of your age can just call me Uncle Dong. Later on, I will leave behind my contact information." If you have any issues, you just have to look for me. Uncle Dong was a chatterbox and pulled Lin Yuan closer before starting to inquire about his life. In regards to this sudden concern, Lin Yuan rubbed the back of his head and felt a little exhausted when dealing with it. All of a sudden, the woman coughed lightly, and Uncle Dong immediately stopped talking. He then turned around in embarrassment. Lin Yuan, this is a gift from your Uncle Li. Lin Yuan received the box and thanked her. The woman immediately shook her hand and said gently, just call me Auntie Sue. Lin Yuan nodded and greeted her appropriately. At that moment, Uncle Dong was so shocked that his jaws nearly dropped. Old Sue, I didn't think that you were a person with feelings, he exclaimed. Before he could finish, he received a cold glare and didn't dare to continue speaking. When Auntie Sue noticed that Lin Yuan was going to keep the box, she said, open the box now and take a look inside. I will tell you what it is. It is something very precious. Lin Yuan responded by opening the box and saw a sphere, which was the size of a big toe, embedded in the center of the box. Lin Yuan picked up the sphere and took a closer look but wasn't able to identify it. However, from its appearance, it looked like a dried-up plant seed. It was exchanged for the merits of your father, mother, Auntie Zhang, and Uncle Li. It is a source seed. Lin Yuan felt a lashing pain in his heart first before a trace of warmth replaced it. Auntie Sue, what is a source seed? He asked. Auntie Sue didn't explain immediately. Instead, she asked Lin Yuan, do you know how dimensional rifts are sealed? Lin Yuan shook his head. A dimensional rift may produce an alien beast wave, but it is also a treasure trove. This source seed was extracted from a Class 2 dimensional rift. The opening of a dimensional rift produces source-type items. If one extracts the source seed, the dimensional rift will lose its ability to produce source-type items and close. There are all sorts of source-type items, and the source seed in your hand is one of them. Lin Yuan observed the source seed but couldn't find anything special. It looked just like a piece of hardened lump that was dark green in color. This source seed is very suitable for you. You cannot sense spirit chi and have weak spiritual energy, so you cannot form contracts with fays. This source seed only requires fresh blood to nurture it. In other words, it can form contracts with humans without the need for spirit chi and spiritual energy. Finally, Lin Yuan learned about the source seed's function. Chapter 46, A Pack of Wolves Hunting. Su Jin explained further upon seeing that Lin Yuan understood. FreeWebNovel.com. The source seed's evolution is different from regular phase. It is equivalent to a seed that you can mold as you wish. By feeding it, nurturing it, and guiding it, you can be certain of the source seed's ability and evolution direction. I advise you to nurture the source seed into a healing type Fey as it will be useful for your condition. Lin Yuan had a good grasp of the source seed's function now. Simply put, this source seed was like an empty canvas. The source seed's owner could create willfully on the canvas and decide the source seed's evolution form, type, and ability. Lin Yuan wasn't planning to nurture the source seed into a healing type Fey. On the contrary, he was planning to nurture it into a pure combat class plant type Fey. That way, he would be able to protect himself at any time and place. In terms of combat, Lin Yuan had this insistence that he had to possess combat capabilities, no matter what. Otherwise, if he became a pure healer, he wouldn't be confident in protecting his life. Su Jin and Dong Hai gave Lin Yuan their contact information and told Lin Yuan to call them if there was any problem. Lin Yuan nodded in agreement out of courtesy. Based on Lin Yuan's personality, he would never seek help from others unless it was absolutely necessary. However, their kind intentions were something that Lin Yuan would remember in his heart. Auntie Sue then took out another box and handed it to Lin Yuan. This is my personal gift. Lin Yuan opened it and saw that it was filled with radiance dollars. It was unknown how many there were in the stack, but it was at least 100. Before Lin Yuan could say anything, Uncle Dong spoke unhappily. Hey! Su Jin, didn't we say we will give it together? Why did you give it first without telling me? He walked in front of Lin Yuan and took out a box smilingly. Little Yuan, I also have a gift for you. Be it nurturing the source seed or supporting your younger sister at school, money is needed. Don't you save on it. Your Auntie Sue and I will be giving you radiance dollars every now and then. He then stuffed the box into Lin Yuan's hand. Lin Yuan received it at first before he seriously latched the two boxes and returned them to Su Jin and Dong Hai. Auntie Sue, Uncle Dong, I cannot accept the money. Lin Yuan didn't explain much and just stood still with a smile. His eyes were filled with determination and sincerity. Dong Hai got anxious in response and tried to persuade him. Little Yuan, keep them, be good. I feel that I cannot accept them. I don't need you to feel, I just need me to feel it is okay. Lin Yuan suddenly didn't know what to say. Why did this uncle suddenly become so slippery? 1. Oil alert. As Lin Yuan was speaking, Su Jin had been looking at his eyes. Su Jin was a member of the spirit guards that had seen life and death. She suddenly felt that this youth's eyes were actually clear, sincere, and genuine. From these eyes, she understood that no matter what they said today, Lin Yuan wouldn't accept the money. Dong Hai, enough. It is fine if little Yuan doesn't want it. She then took back to the 2 boxes from Lin Yuan. She kept one box to herself and tossed the other box to Dong Hai. She didn't forget to say to Dong Hai, don't speak another word tonight. Dong Hai felt wronged and closed his mouth in embarrassment. Lin Yuan realized that Dong Hai's temperament became very straightforward and wasn't as slippery as before. It seems like Auntie Su is an expert in eliminating oil. Su Jin suddenly changed the topic and said to Lin Yuan, this time, a Class 1 dimensional rift appeared in Xia region. It is connected with an insect world. As for now, there are still numerous alien insects in the rift's vicinity. I can bring you along to see a spirit guard's work. Do you wish to go? Lin Yuan immediately agreed and said firmly, let's go. Dimensional rift, insect world, all these were things that Lin Yuan had never come in contact with before. However, it was inevitable to encounter these things in this world, so now that there was a chance, Lin Yuan naturally wanted to go. Moreover, Lin Yuan wanted to understand more about the spirit guard's work. It would also allow him to understand his parents' experiences as they had also been members of the spirit guards. Perhaps there would be a day when Lin Yuan would venture into dimensional rifts alone. There wasn't a need to talk about the distant future. According to the news, the dimensional rifts would become active in another half a year, and alien beast waves would start to surge out from the dimensional rifts. By then, it would be something that he had to face. Now that someone was offering to let him understand things in advance, it was truly a great chance. Su Jin looked at Lin Yuan with approval and said to Dong Hai, later on, you will clear the alien insects. I will protect little Yuan. Dong Hai's eyes immediately lit up, and he quickly nodded. Instead of acting as a bodyguard, fighting and clearing the alien insects was more fitting to Dong Hai's style. Su Jin circulated her spiritual energy and summoned her fae. A snow-white avian with a wingspan of 10 meters and thick and soft feathers, which were pure white, appeared in the air. The talons under the body had a dazzling metallic luster. The avian's head was slightly different from regular birds. Regular birds had a smaller head, but Su Jin's contracted fae's head was close to a third of the body. Lin Yuan used True Data to check on this fae's information. Fae name, Silk Feather Snowy Owl. Fae species, Conceal Feathered genus/Snowy Owl subspecies. Fae grade, Platinum, 8/10. Fae type, G/Ice. Fae quality, Flawless. Abilities. Feather Assault, use the wings to activate an extremely fast flap. At the same time, shoot out razor-sharp side feathers from the wings. Feather Shield, use the body's thick feathers to put on a damage defense. Snow Feather Thrust, when shooting out cold attribute feathers, the feathers will condense ice and execute a scattering attack. Snow Walk, the extremely cold air currents form a snow avalanche on the surface of the ground to execute a snowstorm and ice-burying attack. Protection of Snow, summon the power of extreme cold and condense hard ice to protect multiple targets and also to increase the resistance toward ice and snow. Exclusive skill. Rapid Cold, increase affinity with ice and frost, allowing all ice-type abilities to have the rapid cold effect. The Silk Feather Snowy Owl was a flying and defense-type fae. But just by looking at the Silk Feather Snowy Owl's talons, Lin Yuan knew that its attack power would definitely be extraordinary. After reaching platinum grade, without the abilities and skill, the fae's physical body would already possess powerful damage output. Su Jin's Silk Feather Snowy Owl's exclusive skill and nurture method was leaning toward offense. It allowed this defense-type fae to have extraordinary defense and also outstanding offensive power. When the Silk Feather Snowy Owl appeared, Chimey was frightened, and Lin Yuan quickly comforted it. After comforting Chimey, Lin Yuan left Chimey at home. Lin Yuan didn't want to bring along Genius and Chimey as it wouldn't just be dangerous for them. At the same time, their extraordinary traits might be detected by Su Jin and Dong Hai. It wasn't something that Lin Yuan wanted. When Chimey evolved to bronze grade, it wouldn't matter if Chimey evolved into the ancestry line or had a spiritual variation. Its looks would definitely undergo an extreme change. By then, people would no longer treat it as a sound bird. Under Su Jin's instructions, Lin Yuan climbed at the silk feather snowy owl's back. This was the first time Lin Yuan was observing a platinum fae from such a close distance, and it was also his first time riding on a platinum flying fae. He had to admit that the silk feather snowy owl was so cozy that it was absurd. When stepping on the silk feather snowy owl's back, Lin Yuan felt he was stepping on a bed weaved with goose feathers. It was an absolute enjoyment. When the silk feather snowy owl was flying in the sky, it was just like a floating cloud. In just a short moment, it flew out of the Xia region and arrived at the vicinity of the dimensional rift. As soon as Lin Yuan got off the silk feather snowy owl's back, he could hear faint sounds from all sorts of alien insects on this black night. It felt just like the insatiable butcher that was hidden in the dark. At that moment, a part of uniformed personnel approached them. Su Jin handed her credentials and her crest. The uniformed personnel immediately saluted and left to patrol other places. By looking at the outfit of these people, Lin Yuan immediately recognized them as the Redbud City's famous Redbud Guards. It was said that each Redbud Guard possessed a gold fae, and they were considered the core strength of the Redbud City. He didn't expect so many Redbud Guards to be in the vicinity of the Class 1 dimensional rift. As of now, Lin Yuan already encountered more than 3 platoons. Seeing Lin Yuan's confused expression, Su Jin patiently explained, the Class 1 dimensional rift is connected to an insect world. It might only be Class 1, but the danger level isn't inferior to a Class 2 dimensional rift. The alien insects have strong reproductive abilities and can also evolve by eating their enemies. Their growth rate is extremely fast, so it is very hard to deal with them. All of a sudden, Lin Yuan heard a frail sound from behind, and he immediately saw Dong Hai brandishing his fist at the back. An alien insect collapsed on the ground due to Dong Hai's fist, and the poisonous fluid in its body was spraying out. It was obvious that it wouldn't be. Chapter 47, Red Thorn. Under the chilly moonlight, a massacre commenced. Soon, the giant wolf that exuded a purple luster slaughtered all the alien insects. After the massacre, Dong Hai, Su Jin, and Lin Yuan departed, leaving behind a ground filled with insect corpses for the Redbud Guards to clean up. At that moment, an unassuming black crow was standing on a tree branch quietly and watching the insect corpses scattered throughout the ground. The crow's eyes betrayed its ruthlessness and viciousness, as well as traces of disdain. After standing quietly for a moment, the black crow flew straight for the dimensional rift with a burst of speed. When Lin Yuan returned, he realized he had obtained another willpower rune. Aren't willpower runes very difficult to obtain? Why does it seem like I am able to obtain them easily? Is it because I am too smart? Lin Yuan ridiculed in his heart. Lin Yuan comprehended this willpower rune while witnessing the alien insects getting slaughtered. The Slaughterfest represented destruction, but it brought hope to Xia region's people. Destruction and hope were always contradicting or intersecting with each other. However, in different circumstances, hope and destruction had a different significance. This willpower rune represented hope that was released during the massacre, and it was a true offense-type rune. As for the source seed, Lin Yuan didn't use it immediately after returning. Instead, he spent quite a fair amount of money on the Star Web to purchase source seed-related books. Unfortunately, he realized that all those books were only giving simple introductions. They introduced the source seed as a kind of source-type item but only briefly mentioned its usage. There might be plenty of active dimensional rifts and many dimensional rifts that had been sealed and destroyed, but among all sorts of source-type items, there were only 2 source seeds had ever been obtained. The owner of the other source seed mentioned that 1 drop of fresh blood was enough to form a contract with the source seed. Afterward, they should bury the source seed in energy ores and just wait quietly for it to germinate. Not long after, because the person who had obtained the source seed had only been an ordinary person, he had perished during a calamitous Class 3 dimensional rift. As such, the research on source seeds had reached an end. The research result determined that source seeds were considered weaker among the source-type items. Otherwise, no matter how many merits and contributions Lin Yuan's parents, Uncle Li, or Auntie Zhang had wouldn't matter. It would be impossible for them to exchange for the only remaining source seed. After reading all the books on source seeds, Lin Yuan had a greater understanding of his source seed. Concurrently, Lin Yuan also decided to form a contract with the source seed. He took out the wrinkly source seed and observed it, feeling that it was nothing special. While observing the ordinary-looking source seed, Lin Yuan suddenly caught a glimpse of 4 hearts that were boiling with warmth. Lin Yuan made a cut on his finger and squeezed out a drop of fresh blood. The drop landed on the source seed, and he noticed that the seed absorbed it at breakneck speed. At the same time, he realized that the bloodline contract between him and the source seed had already formed. Since the contract was formed, Lin Yuan decided to stop the bleeding. However, before he could do that, another drop of blood fell on the source seed. Just as Lin Yuan was preparing to wipe off the blood, he discovered that the source seed had completely absorbed the drop of blood. Surprisingly, Lin Yuan felt that his connection with the source seed had deepened. Thus, he simply allowed his blood to drip onto the source seed. After 6 drops of blood, Lin Yuan could vaguely feel the source seed's emotional state. It was now emitting a desire for its contractor's blood. Naturally, Lin Yuan that the source seed-related books he had purchased on the Star Web had discrepancies. Logically speaking, the book's authors must have taken reference from the previous contractor's experience of dripping 1 drop of blood on the source seed and the fact that he had sensed that his connection had stopped. Lin Yuan could sense the source seed's desire. Thus, he bit on his hand, opening up the wound, and a surging flow of blood bespattered the source seed, which fearlessly absorbed the blood. After 1 minute of continuous blood loss, and when Lin Yuan felt a spell of dizziness, the source seed finally stopped its wanton absorption. Lin Yuan swiftly used his Jasmine Lily to heal himself. The Jasmine Lily's heal ability might not be able to immediately heal Lin Yuan's wound, but in just a few seconds, the bleeding had stopped. An Elite X Jasmine Lily was already considered a full-fledged healing type Fae. Lin Yuan took a closer look at the source seed and noticed that it was gradually shedding off the hard scab on its surface. The layer of hard scab was now soft and dark red in color. The dark red scab was withdrawn inside the source seed, and its front grew out soft sprouts that were around 3 centimeters in height. At that moment, Lin Yuan could clearly feel that the source seed was waiting for his instruction to decide on its evolution direction and form. Lin Yuan had already made a plan regarding the source seed's evolution direction, so he immediately instructed, "You will follow the carnivorous plant's path, and your 2 soft sprouts will grow into a mouth." Lin Yuan would first nurture the source seed into a predator plant and then evolve it toward the other directions. After receiving Lin Yuan's instructions, the source seed's soft sprouts went through a drastic transformation and turned into 2 cylinder-shaped stems that were 40 centimeters in height. The stem center was like a stomach sac, and when Lin Yuan touched it, it felt like it was hollow. The top of the stems were 2 red-colored multiflora roses. Lin Yuan took a closer look at the flowers. Although they might be like simple multiflora roses, their petals had sharp barbs. The moment the petals were rolled open, a saw-toothed mouth appeared. Lin Yuan never expected that a single command would allow the source seed to evolve a completed predator organ. Truth be told, it seemed like the source seed was as weak as stated in the books. However, Lin Yuan felt that the source seed was exceptionally strong, and it wasn't even at normal grade yet. In addition, Lin Yuan even speculated that a normal offense-type Fae, such as the Grey Fur Hound, wouldn't be the source seed's match and would become its food source instead. Lin Yuan channeled the spirit chi into the source seed, but it didn't absorb the channeled spirit chi, to his surprise. It seemed like the information was correct, and the only method to evolve the source seed was through energy absorption. As a combat class plant, Lin Yuan wasn't going to allow the source seed to be absorbing energy from the soil as the main source of energy. If the plant was too reliant on the soil, it would suffer more restrictions in combat. Currently, the source seed could consume food to increase its energy and allow itself to evolve. As such, it didn't have to rely on its roots to absorb energy. Lin Yuan was planning to make the roots undergo a different transformation. He wouldn't forbid the roots to absorb energy from the soil. He would make the roots less reliant on absorbing energy from the soil and turn it into a method instead. Freeweb, they'll calm. For example, he would allow the source seed to instantly absorb the soil's energy to recuperate its body or enhance the root's defensive ability. Of course, these were all ideas that Lin Yuan had just thought of. As for the exact evolution path, Lin Yuan would make a careful decision after evolving it to bronze grade and choosing its exclusive skill. Lin Yuan looked at the source seed and decided to give it a name, Red Thorn. Chapter 48, Mouth of Relinquish. From now on, Lin Yuan would need to supply food to Red Thorn as he did for Genius and Chimey. Lin Yuan had already come to a decision about Red Thorn food supply. What else could be more suitable than the alien insects as a food source for Red Thorn? The alien insects had hard shells, while their flesh had corrosive properties. If these alien insects were used to feed Red Thorn, they would increase Red Thorn's digestive ability and allow Red Thorn's predator organs to produce a potent corrosive fluid in order to digest them. The alien insects were products of the Dimensional Rift and Insect World. They weren't available in this world. On the Star Web, the carcasses of alien insects were sold as spiritual ingredients. Lin Yuan immediately went to purchase insect carcasses for Red Thorn to see how many of them it had to digest before reaching normal grade. After entering his Star Web store, Lin Yuan noticed that plenty of people were waiting inside. There were many new faces, but Lin Yuan didn't feel strange toward their intentions as they were all waiting for him. They probably wanted to order bronze usnias and elite spirit siphon goldfish. These people were actually willing to increase the price to make orders with him, but Lin Yuan rejected all of them without exception. When operating a small store, especially a small phase store on the Star Web, apart from the selling phase, the store would be accepting private orders. Each private order would be different from the previous one, so the price would be different. However, as far as the store's normal fei were concerned, Lin Yuan chose to treat everyone fairly. Lin Yuan hadn't known how to operate a store in his previous life. He had accumulated all the knowledge for operating a store in this life by watching how his parents acted. Enthusiasm and perseverance were required when opening a store. Lin Yuan had already inherited the enthusiasm and perseverance traits and wouldn't change so easily. Owner, I wish to order 30 pots of bronze usnias at a price higher than the market price. Owner, I wish to order 100 elite spirit siphon goldfish from you. I wonder if we can have a discussion. Lin Yuan was rather tempted after hearing the offers, but he firmly rejected them. freewebnovel.com. When the store brings new merchandise, you are all welcomed to snatch them. After sending these people away with a smile, Lin Yuan sighed. Due to the increase in transactions on the Star Web, there would always be new customers, and the usefulness of the AI robot would start to decrease. Lin Yuan really wanted to hire a staff member for his Star Web store. After the passage of a dozen days or so, Lin Yuan's store was no longer unknown as in the beginning. He had constantly been selling feis that were rarely available on the Star Web. As such, his store had been categorized by the Star Web as a premium goods store. Naturally, since his store carried the premium goods store title, it received yet another boost in popularity. Nonetheless, with more people visiting due to its reputation, Lin Yuan's supply of goods was not enough for the demand. Many Star Web stores were trying to think of methods to sell their goods, but Lin Yuan's store would only have available stock for 10 minutes before selling out. During this period of time, the bronze usnias and elite spirit siphon goldfish had brought Lin Yuan a profit of 400 radiance dollars. In other words, Lin Yuan had already accumulated enough money to purchase 3 drops of gold-grade dragon blood. There were still a few days before the 27th, and Lin Yuan would definitely be able to earn more radiance dollars during this period of time. He would then have the capital to purchase the great feis that people might miss out on. In Lin Yuan's case, who was urgently trying to increase his strength, no amount of radiance dollars was enough to spend. Lin Yuan only had 1 willpower rune in the past, and he was already under great pressure. He was in a hurry to help his Jasmine Lily increase its quality to legend at bronze grade. From there, he would enhance it into a fantasy breed. Now that he had another willpower rune, Lin Yuan was already thinking of upgrading Red Thorn to become a fantasy breed at bronze grade 2. Red Thorn wasn't a regular fei that Lin Yuan could channel his spirit chi to evolve it and enhance its quality. Red Thorn would require the full support of resources, making it a sweet burden. Just as Lin Yuan was preparing to contact Zhou Jessen, he saw a message from a friend. He took a glance and couldn't help but lament. Stream in the Cloud is really not an uber-lucky person. She even said she would definitely be able to roll out the transparent spider web. To think about it, how can a person who got bitten by a ghost shadow-bristled spider be uber-lucky? As such, Lin Yuan had to continue preparing 5 more Elite X/Epic web-spraying spiders for the Stream in the Cloud. It wasn't a problem for Lin Yuan as he considered an easy task to complete. After replying to the Stream in the Cloud, Lin Yuan contacted Zhou Jessen. Deep Mountain Elder Lin, Big Sister Xian, do you have any alien insect carcasses for sale? Zhou Jessen, I do have low-grade alien insect carcasses, and quite the collection at that. Do you need them? If you don't need too many, I can send them to you as a gift. Zhou Jessen was rather surprised and didn't know why Lin Yuan wanted to purchase alien insect carcasses. Although the alien insect carcasses prices weren't considered low, Zhou Jessen was willing to gift them because she wanted to build a better relationship with Lin Yuan. This was also considered a method to enhance the relationship with customers. Another factor was the recent dimensional rifts opening in various places. The alien insect carcasses prices had plummeted. Since the alien insect carcasses prices had declined, Zhou Jessen didn't mind giving away 3 or 4 of them. Deep Mountain Elder Lin, Big Sister Xian, there is no need for the gift. I will need a huge quantity of alien insect carcasses in the future. This time, I will need 100. I will also need another 10,000 caddies of inferior energy ores, half a caddy of butterfly shells, 40 normal spirit siphon goldfish, and 5 Elite X/flawless web spraying spiders. Lin Yuan decided to just purchase everything from Zhou Jiasan's store. After purchasing so many spiritual ingredients and phase from Zhou Jiasan's store, he didn't have to worry about the quality. Zhou Jiasan didn't expect Lin Yuan to purchase so many goods in one go. She found the constant increase of Lin Yuan's purchasing power truly delightful. At the same time, she already treated Lin Yuan as her VIP customer and would open up all spiritual ingredients and resources from the store to Lin Yuan. As a Class 3 store owner, Zhou Jiasan had plenty of collections. Those precious spiritual ingredients and phase were all resources to build ties with customers. As such, Zhou Jiasan had been cautiously using them. However, Zhou Jiasan was going to be extremely generous in offering her resources to Lin Yuan in the future. Of course, the precondition was that Lin Yuan could afford them. After logging out of the Star Web, Lin Yuan quickly received Zhou Jiasan's goods. The 100 alien insect carcasses were stored in Ostrich Logistics spirit storage boxes, so there wasn't a need to worry they might rot. Lin Yuan tossed the alien insect carcasses to Red Thorn. Red Thorn probed and sensed the alien insect carcasses' taste before the 2 red flowers opened up and formed a red basin mouth that could fit a basketball. It then gobbled up 2 of the alien insect carcasses. Red Thorn's digestion speed of the alien insect carcasses was surprisingly fast, and it took just 5 to 6 minutes to disintegrate them. Lin Yuan continued to feed Red Thorn until the 80th carcass. When Red Thorn finished digesting the 80th alien insect carcass, it stopped eating. Its body started to shiver violently as it evolved and produced other body structures. At that moment, Lin Yuan checked on Red Thorn's normal grade ability, and his irises shrunk as it was the mouth of Relinquish. Chapter 49, 1000 Questions Beast. Red Thorn's body was shivering with increased intensity. As it shivered, thorns started to grow out of Red Thorn's body. There were around 10 thorns, around 1.5 meters, with sharp spikes covering them. The spikes weren't ordinary spikes as they curved in a reverse direction. If this thorn pierced into the flesh, a slight pull of the vine would rip off the flesh. While looking at Red Thorn's normal grade state, Lin Yuan couldn't help but get amazed by Red Thorn's offensive capability. Red Thorn's evolution felt as though it was meant for combat, but the evolution had yet to complete. At the center of Red Thorn, there was a fruit-shaped part that suddenly grew out. It was light red in color and around half a meter in height. As compared to the 2 digestive organs by the side, the fruit-shaped part was taller and much more robust. The 2 digestive organs that Red Thorn produced previously were gradually integrating with the fruit-shaped part. Red Thorn's evolution stopped here. Lin Yuan checked on Red Thorn's true data. Fey name, Red Thorn, predator plant. Fey species, Rafflesia genus/vine subspecies. Fey grade, normal. Fey type, source. Fey quality, elite. Abilities. Mouth of Relinquish, secrete vigorous digestive fluids with powerful corrosive properties, allowing a faster speed to absorb the energy in the food. Red Thorn looked rather sinister and fearsome right now, however, Lin Yuan paid more attention to the newly grown fruit-shaped part as it was a new organ. This new organ was precisely due to the Red Thorn's normal grade ability, Mouth of Relinquish. Red Thorn's digestive organs could only be described as complete before, but they were considered perfect right now. A single command from Lin Yuan had allowed Red Thorn to evolve into a nearly perfect root at the normal grade. The newly grown organ was a digestive smelter. It allowed the digestive organs to dissolve the alien insect carcasses with extreme speed and also secrete large amounts of plant corrosive fluid. The corrosive plant fluid wasn't just able to help with the digestion of food, but the 2 multiflora flowers could also spout it out as an attack. Lin Yuan followed up quickly and continued to feed the alien insect carcasses. He noticed the mouth of Relinquish had opened up multiple crevices that were filled with sharp teeth. Lin Yuan tossed 10 insect carcasses into the mouth of Relinquish, and it merely wriggled a few times before crushing all the insect carcasses. Due to the digestive fluids that were even more powerful than acid, it took just a few minutes to digest everything. Lin Yuan was shocked by Red Thorn's digestion speed. However, he wasn't hesitant and immediately ordered another 3,000 alien insect carcasses from Zhou Jiasan's Star Web store. Lin Yuan was planning to constantly feed Red Thorn and for it to digest the alien insect carcasses to quickly reach elite grade. Apart from listing up the new goods on the Star Web, Lin Yuan would be purchasing resources during this period. At the same time, he helped stream in the cloud to finish the custom orders. For the rest of the time, Lin Yuan had constantly been enhancing the Jasmine Lily, Spirit Siphon Goldfish, Genius, and Chimey. It had to be known that regarding the spirit siphon goldfish, Lin Yuan truly had a love-hate relationship with it. frewebnovel.com. But as his spirit-locked fae, Lin Yuan didn't have any choice and had to be patient as he increased the spirit siphon goldfish's grade and quality. As for the other spirit siphon goldfish, Lin Yuan didn't have the time to bother with them. However, due to the spirit lock spatial zone's ample spirit chi, the normal spirit siphon goldfish in the spirit pool were all evolving rather quickly. Naturally, evolving the normal spirit siphon goldfish to elite grade brought the main bulk of revenue for Lin Yuan. Days passed by, and Lin Yuan continued to operate purchase with no loss fae store. The small financial snowball had been constantly pushed by Lin Yuan and started to accumulate more snow, producing great rewards. At that moment, Chimey and Genius were cuddling with Lin Yuan. Under Lin Yuan's nourishment and channeled spirit chi, they were already elite X/epic phase. When Lin Yuan circulated the spirit chi to break through the limits in Genius and Chimey's bodies, the two of them simultaneously evolved to bronze grade. Genius' body emitted the sound of intense bone formations, and it was meowing and purring as though it was experiencing extreme pain. The evolution to bronze grade was considered a metamorphosis for any fae, and naturally, Genius was no exception. However, as a 100 questions beast, Genius' foundation was much weaker than regular faes. Therefore, the evolution to bronze grade was even more intense for Genius. In a few short minutes, Genius' fur had been withering and falling off layer by layer and growing new fur layer by layer. When Genius had reached elite grade, it had already been the size of an adult domestic cat. Now that it evolved to bronze grade, Genius actually shrunk by more than 2 times. Genius now had the size that was the same as the time before any evolution. Genius' fur had constantly been transforming, and after a period of time, it finally stopped. Genius' fur was completely white right now. But it wasn't white like the snow, but more like white nephrite that was sparkling and moist looking. Genius opened its eyes, and Lin Yuan noticed that its eyes were like amber and felt they were absurdly quick-witted. After waking up, Genius looked at its transformation and licked its little paws happily. All of a sudden, Genius looked at its tail and let out an alarmed meow. Lin Yuan looked over and noticed that Genius' tail had transformed from 1 into 3. When Lin Yuan used True Data to check on Genius attributes, he noticed that Genius' name had changed from 100 questions beast to 1,000 questions beast. Genius was still panicking because of its 3 tails. It used its little paw to grasp the tails and shook them back and forth. It made Genius' quick-witted eyes lit up. Since Genius evolved to bronze grade with epic quality, 3 exclusive skills appeared, and Lin Yuan had to make a choice. Lin Yuan carried Genius and discovered that its fur was ridiculously silky and soft. When Genius sensed that it had shrunk in size, it scuttled onto Lin Yuan's shoulder and sat on its favorite spot. Lin Yuan read Genius' 3 exclusive skills and started to ponder. Dust avoidance, all dust will be repelled, and the environment will be free of dust. Tool transformation, capable of transforming into a tool for the contractor to use. Deepen pain, after attacking the target, it will cause the target to feel pain. Make use of the spiritual energy to decide and increase the pain. The 3 exclusive skills made Lin Yuan frown. Dust avoidance was an exclusive skill that was like a smart vacuum cleaner and was very fitting for a housekeeping beast. If the dust avoidance skill was used in appropriate situations, it could be used to deal with and counter faes with sandy soil abilities. However, Genius wasn't an offense-type fae, so the effects in battle would be very limited. Chapter 50, Streamcloud Azure Bird. Deepen Pain was also an exclusive skill of the same category. It was considered an elite combat class exclusive skill that had horrific lethality in combat. But for Genius, it was obviously useless. Genius' physical body might obtain offensive capabilities as it continued to evolve, but it was unrealistic if Genius had to enter phase of the same grade. Genius was all in all a housekeeping or domestic fae. As for the tool transformation skill, Lin Yuan also had a headache. It was a skill that people would either love or hate. Only gamblers would prefer to use tool transformation as entertainment. According to different fae species, the tool transformation would be slightly different. However, it still couldn't lower the unpredictability of tool transformation. A huge and burly man had once picked the tool transformation skill for his fae, and the fae transformed into a colorful and beautiful little handheld fan. The scene had been so beautiful that people couldn't bear watching. A delicate and petite little girl's fae had also awakened tool transformation, and it transformed into a large steel hammer. It had angered the little girl so much that she could only wipe her tears and couldn't even cry out loud. Reway, B. Novel. If tool transformation gave out a weapon, it was rather good. But if it was a defense item, it was horrendous. Spirit Chi clothes might be expensive now, but it was still possible to purchase them. If a Fae transformed into a defense item, it was the same as losing a reliable helper in combat. But if they didn't use the exclusive skill, it was the same as the Fae having one less exclusive skill. Furthermore, there were successful cases of tool transformation, and such cases were rather common. Since it was a matter with regards to one's Fae, and there was only one chance, who would dare to take the risk? For people whose Faes evolved with flawless quality, they didn't have a chance. Now that Lin Yuan had 3 choices, he wasn't really willing to take the risk. However, the 2 other exclusive skills were truly useless for Genius, and it wasn't going to help to have them. Finally, Lin Yuan steeled his heart and decided to take the risk. If he made this bet, there was a possibility that a motorcycle might turn into a sports car, and if he failed, the motorcycle would turn into a bicycle at worst. As compared to the 2 other exclusive skills, the difference wasn't that much. Once Lin Yuan chose tool transformation, Genius let out a meow, and its body glowed and started to transform. Subsequently, it transformed into a classic white-framed pair of glasses. The glasses had amber-like decorations and looked just like Genius. When having a Fae with tool transformation, there would certainly be an additional effect for the contractor. After wearing the glasses, Lin Yuan felt that his mind had obtained knowledge that he couldn't understand previously. This knowledge was mostly for primary rank scholar, Fae observer, and spiritual ingredient analyst. Lin Yuan immediately understood. It seemed like when he wore the glasses, he could actually share the knowledge that Genius had learned. When Lin Yuan moved the glasses, he realized that the glasses had a second form. There was a switch at the back of the ear, which immediately turned the glasses into a white mask with amber patterns. Lin Yuan felt it was refreshing as Genius reverted to its original appearance after transforming twice. When Genius evolved from 100 questions beast to 1,000 questions beast, it was such a complete transformation that Lin Yuan would never have expected. If Genius wasn't able to use tool transformation and turn into a pair of glasses, Lin Yuan felt that it would be rather awkward to bring Genius into the exams for the lifestyle class occupations. After checking on Genius attributes after evolving to bronze grade, Lin Yuan nodded. Fae name, 1,000 questions beast. Fae species, spirit cat species / intelligent cat species. Fae grade, bronze, 1/10. Fae type, spiritual. Fae quality, normal. Abilities. Precise memory. When memorizing something, every single detail can be memorized with precision. Knowledge analysis, can conduct a diverse initial analysis of the memory's knowledge. Exclusive skill. Tool transformation, capable of transforming into a tool for the contractor to use. After Genius evolution, Chimey had also completed its evolution. The azure blue feathers on Chimey looked to have a layered effect like the different tones of blue in the clear blue sky. Its size didn't have an obvious change, but as compared to before, it looked more exquisite. The cloud patterns that weren't as distinct previously were now very distinct. The cloud patterns were clear, and the color had a metallic luster, just like a blue color from an artwork using the cloisonne. Chimey's Fae name was no longer Soundbird. Instead, it was called Stringcloud Azure Bird now. As for Chimey's exclusive skill, Lin Yuan was very decisive. Oily feather, the feathers secrete oil and can help to repel damage effectively. Clear sky, after a chirp, the clouds will disperse and clear up the sky. Wind loan, when flying, reduces stamina consumption and borrows the power of air currents effectively. Lin Yuan didn't hesitate after checking the 3 exclusive skills and immediately picked Clear Sky. It was an exclusive skill that Lin Yuan had never heard of. The effects of Clear Sky sounded like a water evasion ability, but if one was to exaggerate it, it was also able to change the weather. Most importantly, after using Clear Sky, Chimey would be facing the sun directly. Would Chimey be able to make use of the exclusive skill, Clear Sky, to comprehend the mysteriousness of the scorching sun? It might allow Chimey to have an opportunity to advance toward a higher bloodline. Lin Yuan checked on Chimey's true data. Fae name, Stringcloud Azure Bird. Fae species, Corvidi species / Azure Bird species. Fae grade, bronze, 1/10. Fae type, sound / G. Fae quality, normal. Abilities. Sound thrust, fire a sharp spike that is formed by sound at a designated target. Turbulence, the flap of the wings emits a consistently fast and random flow of air current. Exclusive skill. Clear sky, after a chirp, the clouds will disperse and clear up the sky. From the information displayed on True Data, Chimey's basic ability had also obtained a slight upgrade. It was now capable of being a combat class Fae. Chimey and Genius evolutions to bronze grade were all toward spiritual variations. Their sizes didn't get bigger, but they became comprehensive. Lin Yuan had also evolved the Jasmine Lily from Elite X/Epic to Bronze/Normal. Among the 3 exclusive skills, Lin Yuan repeatedly considered and finally picked the skill, Recovery Imprint. After picking Recovery Imprint, an imprint that was just like the Jasmine Lily appeared on Lin Yuan's forehead. He could feel that the imprint was constantly storing the healing energy released by the Jasmine Lily. This imprint was just like a lock that would seal all of the healing energy that was constantly released from the Jasmine Lily. When Lin Yuan opened up the lock, all of the accumulated healing energy would be immediately released. The Jasmine Lily's basic ability, Heal, had also changed after reaching bronze grade. It wasn't a single target healing ability anymore. Depending on the spirit chi and the contractor's target, it could heal multiple targets until the contractor's spirit chi was fully exhausted. The change of the ability was also one of the reasons why Lin Yuan had chosen Recovery Imprint as the exclusive skill. When releasing the healing energy accumulated in the Recovery Imprint, Lin Yuan didn't have to exhaust his own spiritual power. As for the Spirit Siphon Goldfish, it was now already Elite 7/Epic. The Spirit Siphon Goldfish's evolution speed had forcefully imbued Lin Yuan with patience. In addition, Lin Yuan still required the gold-grade dragon blood to incite the Spirit Siphon Goldfish's ancestry bloodline, so he wasn't in a hurry. Lin Yuan's strength had undergone a qualitative leap. Red Thorn was still rapidly digesting the alien insect carcasses and evolving toward elite grade. Lin Yuan believed that Red Thorn would soon evolve to elite grade and even bronze grade with a massive amount of resources. By then, Lin Yuan's combat strength would increase significantly. Lin Yuan was in a hurry to increase his strength as he wanted to climb the Star Tower in the Star Web. Lin Yuan had already brought Chimey and Genius into the Star Web, and now, they were heading for the Star Tower.